Hello and welcome to Catacris TV. My name is Jason J. Rock Houston. We got two members of the band Bullet to the Heart. We're speaking with lead singer Audrey Queen and drummer Draven DC. I interviewed you once for Draven last year. It's great to have you back, and we're doing it now on these video type of interviews, and they've been a lot of fun. So, Audrey, I was curious, how long have you been a singer, and is that singing something you always wanted to do?
I've been a singer probably since I was 14. I was literally in the womb listening to Disturbed, Pearl Jam, Evanescence, Linkin Park. So for me, it came into fruition around like 12. I was like singing and like writing. And then my mom one day, when I transferred to a new school, she was like, I signed you up for choir. So oh well. And I was like, well, I don't want to sing. I don't want to be in choir. But that's probably the best thing she could have done because now I'm a lead singer.
Yeah, it's amazing because I've heard similar stories. People that are singers, and they say they got their start in the church choir, and you think okay, somebody it's a metal singer, but you know what? It gives you training and how to use your voice, so it's a great way to start out.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's like a good foundation, I think, like
Yeah.
start with the basics and stuff and work your way to
Yeah.
metal music.
How are you, Draven? As far as drumming, how long have you been drumming, and did you start like in the high school band or anything like that?
So I started drumming when I was 10. When I was like 8 or 9, Guitar Hero was a thing.
Wow,
Uh,
wow.
I wanted to play Guitar Hero, so I wanted to play guitar. And one day I was at my grandfather's house, the only musical person in my family, and I couldn't figure out the guitar to save my life. No amount of training videos, reading books, practice, couldn't figure it out. And he goes, "Oh, get up on the drum kit." I'm like, "Ah, drums are lame, man." And he bought me a kit and told me to practice every day, and now I love it.
And why did you think it was lame? Did it have anything to do with the fact that the drums are kind of like in the back of the stage, and you're like, nobody's going to see me back there? Because drums
Um,
too, real physical thing.
Yeah, I think I didn't understand it at first. I mean, obviously, like when you're a kid and you go see bands like Avenged Sevenfold or someone, there's so much guitar. Motley Crue, growing up, so much guitar. Disturbed, just riffs for days. Like I was like, oh, that's the cool dude, man. And then you
Yeah.
realize that the drummer's the coolest guy in the room.
Yeah, sure, sure. And excuse me, Audrey, this may be a silly question, but I love your stage name. How did you come up with that? I mean, right away I'm thinking, okay, she's a new metal queen or something like that. But I think it's the look of the band is kind of very fitting.
Um, One of my biggest influences is Ozzy Osbourne, the Prince of Darkness
There you
himself.
go. There you go.
Um, I think he sold himself short. I think he should have been the king. So
There you
I
go.
decided I was like, I'm gonna be the Queen of Darkness.
Yeah, yeah, it's very fitting for what you guys do. And how long has Bullet Bullet to the Heart been together as a band?
Since
Yeah, good.
2017.
2017.
Wow, wow. And in listening to the new EP prepping for today's interview, I got to tell you, you do sound like some of those bands you mentioned, but the really thing reason I urge people to go and check you guys out is because interesting thing is when I listen to even the 5 songs in the new EP, typically when you're hearing something for the first time, you're like, who does this band remind me of? And I can honestly compliment you guys on the fact that kind of got your own sound. You don't sound like every metal band out there.
Thank you. Yeah, that's years of, I mean, I don't know, years of finding ourselves really. Like we try to do different stuff, but then hone in like one theme, I guess, like when we write music together. And but I mean, I really appreciate that you caught on to that. So
I mean, do you think it's also a matter of maybe everybody in the band has different influences, and when everybody in the band gets together, those influences come out because and they're maybe vastly different because again, I don't know if that's something you guys set out to do to try to have your own sound. I mean, what band doesn't, right?
yeah, no,
That's
and
true.
like I mean, I totally agree with what you just said because like Brian and Tom originally were like thrash metal guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they get their influence from like thrash metal. I'm a huge like metalcore, post-hardcore,
Yeah.
hard rock. She's like hard rock grunge. So you kind of everyone adds their little bit of spice here and there, and it makes a new dish, a new flavor. And you're
Just
kind of
to,
like, whoa, that's kind of cool.
to take it to the next level, the thing is, I think it's very hard to pigeonhole, Bull to the Heart in the sense that I can't really say what you guys are. I will say, to me, it's kind of a cross between alternative, modern rock. There's a little elements of hard rock, but you lean a little more towards metal.
Yeah, we just came up with alternative metal is what we just call it
Yeah.
when people ask.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
So
And then,
subgenres are hard, man. They could be anything.
and like Graveyard Lovers, I love that track for the simple fact it's probably the most different sounding of everything on the 5-song EP. I mean, in the sense that that's probably one that, a little more commercial, radio friendly. I think that could be a potential radio hit. And then I think any of the other songs, would be real big at metal radio.
Yeah, it was really funny writing that one because we recorded this EP with Justin Oftencamp, which is the guitarist from Miss May I. And we originally went in with this mentality of just doing all heavy music, just really heavy metalcore style songs, like just do a heavy EP. And we wrote Black Widow, and then Brian was writing a metal song, and he came up with this weird chord progression, and that became Graveyard Lovers. And he's like, I kind of like this. I want to use this. And I'm like, it doesn't fit though. And he's like, well, what if we did a pop EP? And I'm like, I don't know if you want to do pop.
The funny thing is, as much of a metal guy as I am, I think that's maybe why that track stood out to me, because it was the one that was really the most different from everything else. And I could see the initial reaction of you having maybe like you said, that doesn't sound as heavy as other songs. But you know what?
Yeah.
Somebody that typically maybe doesn't listen to metal, they hear that track on the radio or wherever, or on YouTube or whatever, they might say, hey, that's a cool sounding track, and then they go check out the other stuff. And I think typically bands, that's where they often make a mistake where, oh, you know what, we don't typically do we don't do ballads, but you know what, you may be missing out on a great song. Yeah. There's something.
No, I totally agree, because like like I said, it was very weird, and once we like figured it out, like we added some little elements in there. We're like, oh, like this kind of fits thematically with the EP, maybe not sound wise, but the theme still fit. And then we did the whole EP around that track, actually.
And of course, you guys sound nothing like Queen, but I bring Queen up because you look at their catalog of music, they're hard rock, they're pop. I mean, even Queen, about as metal as Queen ever got. If you've heard the song Stone Cold Crazy, then they've got a song like Killer Queen, that's almost rock and roll vaudeville, so there's a little bit of everything there. and I think too, talking about going outside the box, I mean, you look at a great band like Metallica's been around for years. They just put out a great new music, but then, as great as the new album is, you have half of the fan base saying, oh, it sounds nothing like the classic stuff. They sold out, or the Black Album. Oh, they had a #1 album. They cut their hair, whatever. But you know what? The songs are played on the radio. We're talking about the Black Album 30 years later. So, I don't see a crime in having a hit album.
Oh.
No, I mean, even if you can't live it down, I mean, they're making money. They're not hurting,
Yeah, they're not hurting. And in fact, when their album was released, maybe about 3 or 4 weeks ago, what they did was kind of unique, is they premiered the album the night before in the album, where they made like a music video for each track, and they kind of premiered that like the night before. And I thought, you know what, that's a new way of kind of experiencing an album. And I thought, more bands, of course not everybody has Metallica's money, but even just like doing something like that, on the internet or something to preview your album, just doing it a little differently. I dig stuff like that.
Yeah, we've been doing exclusive stuff on Patreon, where you'll get the track early or the whole album early or the music videos early. With this specific release, we did an acoustic show, and at the acoustic show, you got to hear all the songs and see the music videos before they came out.
And there was cool about that too, besides, kind of a different way to preview stuff for the fans, is even acoustically, you're giving them a little different taste of the songs. And how was that for you? Because again, I know when you do something acoustically, it sounds a little different. It's not maybe even how you play, it's a little different. So I bet that was kind of fun for you guys.
Oh, it was super fun. It was something different to do, because like usually when it comes to album shows, we want to outdo ourselves. And like you said, we don't have a Metallica budget. Yeah. We sold out Subterranean Upstairs one year. We did House of Blues main stage, and I was like, how do we top that? And I was like, well, maybe it's not about topping it, it's about doing something different,
Yeah.
and I was like, let's do an acoustic show. We're gonna, serve drinks and have food. We did a raffle where we gave away a bass guitar. Like, we did all this like fun stuff with the Bloodline, and I think that was more important than like selling out another big venue.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that Bloodline. I've never heard of them before. Checking out this EP. Are they an independent label? Where are they based out of?
No, so it's my label,
Oh,
Bloodline.
cool. Wow.
Yeah.
Yes. That's what we call our fans the Bloodline. So we did Bloodline Records.
I love that. Kind of like again, it's a different thing, but kind of like the Kiss Army.
Yeah, exactly.
We are one, and we're and that's a great thing about being a metal band. What I've always loved about metal music is when you go to a concert, metal fans usually kind of unite with one another. There's that feeling that we're the underdogs and we're all here together, and this is a celebration.
Yeah, and something Kiss does amazing that I want to do one day is their branding. They are one of the biggest branded bands in the world, and I just think that's awesome.
And as you can see, I'm a huge Kiss fan, but Kiss is I don't know if you know this, they're getting ready to wrap it up on their farewell tour finally, and they've been doing it 50 years. And
They're
welcome. And so people who say that they're not great musicians, they're doing something right. They got the songs. I mean, they've had so many songs on the radio, so you can't be doing it for 50 years and not know and not have some good songs.
Yeah.
And you're so right, because even Kiss, when they started out, I don't think they initially had the forethought to, hey, these painted faces. They finally somebody thought, hey, let's copyright that stuff. We own all that. Even like the makeup designs, have kind of become more iconic than the band.
Yeah, no, I mean, absolutely. I know like he had his own like show, and that like launched a bunch of stuff. And I mean, like pinball machines, video games, mobile games, they have everything. If there's
they were doing it before anybody. Yeah, I mean,
yeah, they have a Kiss product, and one day, like, I want to make Bullets of the Heart like a household name. Like, whether you like the music or not, you're gonna be like, dude, I love the game, or I like the show, or the comic book or something. You know what I mean?
See, and I love the fact that you guys call your fans the Bloodline. That is so cool. Like kind of like, hey, they got our DNA. We're all one. The fact that you call them something besides just the fans, which sounds so generic.
No, yeah, and that started because when we first started this project, we didn't have a lot of close family that was like supporting us, and we found all of these at the time strangers that were coming out. We were like, hey, that guy's been to 3 shows, that guy's been to 5 shows, she's been to 10. You started noticing it, and then they became our friends, they became our family. We've welcomed these people into our home, and I'm like, no, like they're our bloodline, like they are full on, like, it's more wholesome than just, oh, you're part of our fan club. Yeah. You know what I mean? And we really appreciate that, because without
I mean,
a fan base, your band is nothing.
I mean, you guys got Facebook and all your social media sites, I know, but another thing you could maybe do that would be cool, I think, is like start the Bloodline newsletter or something like that.
Yeah, we had an email going around for a while, but it wasn't really that hot,
Yeah. But I love the way you think, especially finding out that this is your own label that you're putting the music out on. And I mean, of course, you love to be on a big major label, but let's be honest, modern world today, not too many bands, unless you're a mainstream band, even have record deals anymore. A lot of people put out their music, and I say that's a good thing, because of course, if you had the backing of a huge major label, that's great for you. You have more money. The money's coming in, more money. But being independent too, who's going to promote your band more than you, right? Or in a better way, I think. You're obviously motivated. Whereas if you had a guy in a suit, knows nothing about the music business, he just prints the records up. Hey, I don't hear a hit. He's not going to necessarily promote the band as good as you are, Draven. And you're more motivated, I think, because you're actually in the band.
No, and totally. We've gotten offers, and I haven't seen a good offer in years, man.
Yeah.
Like, I have friends of bands, they've gotten stiffed. I had a friend of mine, I'm not going to mention their name here, but they signed with a major company and they got shelved.
I mean, so you hear horror stories all the time. I mean, even a legendary classic rock band like Creedence Clearwater Revival, down on the corner. the guy who wrote all the songs, John Fogerty, he just got the rights back to his songs for years.
Yeah.
He wouldn't even play any of his hits because the record company got the rights to all the songs, and it's just a shame. People sign bad record deals. So again, this way I think too. If any money is to be made, it goes right back into the band.
Yeah. I mean, it's all about, I think, growing slowly, but like I put in everything to get the risk, but then I get all of the reward. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And the beautiful part of it to me is this, that even since I talked to you just sometime last year, I mean, the music's getting out there, people are hearing it, and it's an independent label, but you're your own independent label. It's not like you're on some other indie label. So you're doing a great job of getting the videos, and because I gotta tell you, your videos too look professional, like something you would have seen on MTV or Headbangers Ball back in the day. In fact, the video for Black Widow, what I love about it is it's really shot professionally, but great. It's a great performance clip. I mean, anybody who sees that, I think, would want to be like, man, just watching that video, I would love to go see this band play live, because I imagine if they're this good, just in a music performance video, they got to kill it on stage.
Yeah, no, thank you. We put a lot of. I love movies, so there's a lot of movie inspiration in the way we film. Like I like it cinematic. I like doing the weird artistic stuff. So it's kind of cool.
And how about you, Audrey? Do you enjoy doing the music videos? I asked because in watching the Black Widow clip, for example, as great as the band is performing, you seem to be really doing acting, or I don't know how to say, but you seem to be really into it. More than just your singing.
I always have a good time. I love acting. I help them like put the story together, kind of give them like what is the song meaning, and that him and our videographer Cash put it together, and they just kind of tell me what to do, and it's a lot of fun. It's like not only am I like a rock star, I'm like kind of like a movie star in a way, and it's like,
it's interesting, even just talking to you and looking at you as we're talking. Somebody look at you, Audrey, they might not, on the street, they might not think, you look kind of like sweet little goody two shoes next to this guy, and not like somebody maybe necessarily play in a metal band, but is that part of what you love about what you do? People see what you do on stage and they're like, wow, she's just killing it.
Oh, absolutely. I have been told, like, because I'm out of makeup now, get in makeup, I'll get in dress, and I'll walk around, I don't really talk to people, and I get on stage and like I scream, or like I'm angry and I'm snarling, and people are like, I didn't know that could come out of you. And I'm like,
I mean, even in watching the Black Widow video, you're a little more made up, like you said, and you seem to be portraying the Queen of Darkness. I mean, I really got like you kind of morph into that. Like I heard Alice Cooper talk when he hits the stage. He sometimes talks about himself, and he's like, when I right before I hit the stage, I got to tell myself I'm turning into Alice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely fun. We've gotten like tons of reactions. Like we played a lot of like heavy shows, being a Chicago local, and a lot of these guys were like, "Why are they on the bill? They have a chick singer." And then she comes out screaming, and they're like, "Oh, they're heavy."
Yeah,
so
let me ask you about that. How did the band come together? Like, would you say you guys all knew each other from the music scene? Was this a band you formed, Draven or Audrey? And as far as getting a female singer, is that something you always wanted to do, or she just had the best sounding pipes of everybody that auditioned?
So I was in a couple male fronted bands for a while, and I think it was like a mix of like Flyleaf in this moment and like Evanescence. I was just really fond of like the female vocal, but also like add elements of heavy to it.
Yeah.
Because like, Evanescence is a little like clean, and then like clean singing. In this moment had like dirty vocals screaming with heavy music.
Yeah.
And I was really drawn to that. And I ran into her years ago just at like a practice thing for another band, and we formed a band together, and then we did an album show, and our guitarist and our bass player quit that night. So we go up there and we're like, hey, we headlined. We're like, hey, any guitarists or bass players? We're doing auditions. And Brian was our opener. It was just him and a laptop playing the instrumental tracks. And he's like, hey, I want to join. We met up, had some fun. And he goes, hey, my buddy Tom plays bass. And I'm like, oh, okay. It's this guy he went to school with. We all met up, started jamming. I gave him a week to learn all the music because we already had shows booked. Couple shows, we changed the name. In 2017, we officially became Bullet to the Heart.
So let me ask you, was there ever another singer prior to Audrey, or is she the only singer you guys have had?
In Bullet to the Heart, only singer. I was in another band for a while ago where I had a couple guys be swapped out, but in Bullet to the Heart and Bulletproof, it was just Audrey.
And this may excuse me if this sounds like a silly question, but do you think it would matter, like, if you had, I mean, would the songs be written differently, do you think, for a male vocalist, or just kind of, well, if you got the goods and you can deliver the vocal goods, you got, you know?
I think yeah, probably would be written differently. A lot of guys tend to stick to like the same kind of themes.
Yeah.
I think what she adds is she's very good at like lyrics. She's a very good lyricist, and she adds this like flow that like you wouldn't think about. Because like even Brian and I, like
Yeah.
we dabble a little bit in writing. Him and I like write a riff, and we started writing for her, and she was like, "Oh no, throw that out. I have a better idea." And we're like, "Oh, but we worked hard on this," and then she gives us her idea and we're like, oh, that's completely different and that works way better.
Yeah,
So just like having that female brain attached to
yeah.
this heavy music kind of works out.
Yeah, and you make a couple of good points there, because for years, like when I was growing up, I mean, the only really female, rock goddess that was around, we had Lita Ford, Joan Jett, and Doro. And then,
Yeah.
even now you got the Butcher Babies and all those other bands you mentioned. And so I do think having a female vocalist too kind of makes your band stand out a little more. I mean, just yesterday I was interviewing this a girl. She fronts a Lady Zepp, which is a great tribute out here in LA to Led Zeppelin. And she was telling me, she's saying they're an all-girl band. And she was explaining what's kind of interesting is because she's a singer, singing Led Zeppelin songs, it's a little different in the sense people don't expect her to sound like Robert Plant. So she's got a little more freedom to kind of deliver the songs, her way.
No, exactly. And like Tom and I, we saw the Iron Maidens
Yeah,
a little bit ago, and it's an all-female
yeah.
group for people that don't know. And it almost feels like you're in like a different, like a universe, like a different multiverse where Iron Maiden was all female. And it's kind of cool to pretend like, oh, this is different because they're so good at music that it doesn't matter.
I've seen the Iron Maidens live here in LA, and I got to tell you that first time I ever did, I mean, I knew they were all female, but I mean the lead singer, I mean, I think they call her Bruce Chickinson or something like that. She was as man, she killed it. I mean, she sounded like Bruce Dickinson, and I couldn't believe how heavy her voice was, and even like in your music too. Again, watching the video for Black Widow, Audrey, I noticed how you really kind of got that metal voice. You're able to deliver, kind of as you say. I can kind of, the metal Queen of Darkness. I get that vibe.
Thank you. I tried.
Yeah. And so are you kind of when you're recording these songs, for example, you're in the studio, are you kind of surprised at what comes out of you vocally? Or, I mean, how hard do you have to, work to do that?
When they give me songs, the song kind of gives me what vocal range that needs to happen. So for example, Black Widow, it was very like grungy, very, very dirty. Whereas something like Revenant, it was very like up in my register and in my range, very haunting. So I completely know I'm capable of it. And it's funny when I put these songs out, people go like, wow, you have like such a high range. And it's like, yeah, I know. It's just I need a song to let that happen.
Yeah, and again, excuse me for saying this, but again, to look at you, I think most people wouldn't expect those sounds to come out because, again, listening to the music, all 5 songs, the voice is your voice, your vocal approach is very kind of haunting, which for a band like this, I think is what you want.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And just the whole overall, because we wanted like a death theme with like romance, with like these weird characters, which is they're all like weird character stories. So I wanted it to be very like chilling, and I wanted people to like be surprised. Like
they say, mission accomplished. I got to tell you, the only complaint I have with the new release is this: I wish it would have been like maybe 10 tracks instead of 5, but I get it, because that's the other thing is all 5 tracks. It's killer, as they say. There's no filler. I mean, I think you could release any of these 5 songs as a single, and people would love what it is.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about doing another album, but I mean, the industry has just changed. It's
Yeah,
way
sure.
way easier to fit five great things in one
Yeah,
package.
you're right.
And
Yeah.
I don't know. I think by releasing the five songs, we can do another five songs
Yeah, I'm kind of half,
too. You
yeah, I'm
know?
kind of half kidding when I say that because, um, I just thought it was that good that I would have loved like a full length album. But to be honest, you're right that I don't think it's overkill or underkill. I mean, I listened to five tracks. I was pleased with what I was hearing. Um,
Yeah.
but I do think it'll leave most people with that thought. Okay, well, next time they have a new song or a new video, I'm going to check it out. In fact, you also got a video for what's the song? Revenant.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Revenant.
yeah,
It's almost at 100K, by the way.
yeah. Amazing. Because I was going to say, talking about modern music business and everything. You're lucky, this is most bands, even the mainstream bands. You're lucky if people will even play your video, your song all the way through.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
We have
to
pretty good retention though. I think that's part of the work and effort we put into the music videos.
yeah, I really believe that because again, you see stuff online that just doesn't get the attention it deserves, and it's kind of a roll of the dice. But I was looking at your YouTube page and you seem to be getting pretty good response. In fact, where are you guys based out of? We're from
We're based out of Chicago.
Chicago, okay. And so what's Chicago like these days? Because interestingly enough, I know that years ago Chicago is known mostly for like being the home of the blues, but of course, like every place, there's everything else in between.
Yeah, so a lot of the scene in the city right now is like heavy like metalcore.
Good,
So
good.
it's very male dominated. But I mean, a couple of years ago, the scene was very lively. Everybody supported each other. Nowadays, especially after COVID, a lot of good bands aren't left.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's still a couple heavy hitters out here, but there used to be like, hundreds of like, oh, a local band sold out Bottom Lounge, that kind of thing. And there's not a lot of locals left that can do that. There's a lot of new bands. There's a lot of different genres that are starting, but overall it's like very metalcore dominated, very heavy
Have you guys
screaming.
played outside of Chicago, or you've gone anywhere else?
Oh yeah, we've toured the country a couple times.
In fact, before we wrap this up, you wanted me to be sure to have you talk about some of the upcoming shows or tours you guys got planned.
Yeah, so the first one would be July, what is it, 8th to 23rd. We're going on tour with Texas Hippie Coalition.
Wow, wow,
A
what a
couple
bill!
dates with what's up?
What a bill! That's great.
Yeah, yeah, it kind of worked out, kind of with big
Big
Rich,
Dad Rich.
Big Dad Rich.
Yeah,
Couple dates with Gemini Syndrome are mixed in with that, and then at the end of August and September, we're hitting some theater shows with Yngwie Malmsteen.
interesting. And any of those Yngwie dates, or are you going to be? Is Glenn Hughes going to be on the bill? Because I know him and Yngwie are on tour right now.
Yeah,
Yes.
Glenn Hughes on 4 out of the 5 dates. We're only doing a week.
Oh, how cool is that? Wow.
It's like Tobin Center, Majestic Theater. It's like huge venues, House of Blues in Louisiana. So a lot of stuff that are on our bucket list that we've been dying to hit. So it's cool.
Well, good for you guys. Even Yngwie, that's pretty cool. I mean, Yngwie, I could see you guys opening for an Yngwie Malmsteen, but I mean, fan base is a little different, and I think it's cool that his fans are going to be exposed to you guys and vice versa.
Yeah. I think we have a set list pretty much figured out. I think it's a little bit of the new stuff, but a little bit of the older stuff that's still melodic and guitar oriented. Because our sound has evolved a lot, but I feel like there's a little bit everything for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, just right there, what you were saying, I think, obviously, I don't see you guys, doing a tour with maybe a pop band or anything like that, but I think, like you said, just look at that diversity. You're
Yeah.
opening shows for Yngwie, Texas Hippie Coalition. I mean, what a variety of fans, right there.
Yeah, I mean, we tend to like even like on Spotify, like your YouTube, like you said, a lot of the people that are drawn and respect our sound and help support our band, they're just, they're older metalheads, man. They just love heavy music, heavy guitar. They like the female, so it's something different.
Yeah. And so, any plans? I know this just getting ready to be released, but you got the two videos. You think there'll be maybe a third video?
Yeah, there is a third video that is already in the works. So I don't know if you want to know what track or if you want to be surprised.
Well, it's up to you. I mean, I'd love to know just, and then that way I'll just we can leave it open as far as when it is ready to drop. We'll have you guys back. We'll put it that way.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks for having us again. We'd love to come back, and you'll be the first to get it.
Okay, well, Audrey, it was great talking to you and meeting you for the first time. Draven, I had fun doing the interview this way. It's a lot of fun, more fun. So let's keep in touch, you guys. And when I post the video interview, I'll post some of the music videos so people can check you out and let them know where they can go.
Yeah, tag us up.
Yeah, thanks for doing this, and I'll let you guys know when the interview posts next week. So take care and keep up. And I urge people to go get the new. Oh, that's what we should let people know. It's called Death, Oddities, and Romance 5-song EP. And man, what a title! That says it all.
Oh yeah.
Okay, take care, you guys. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Have a good one, man.
Anytime.